I'm Andre.
I'm Andrea.
And we're doing Doctor Who. And we just finished watching Marco Polo, which is your first reconstruction.
Yes, watching.
Watching, yes. So, for those who don't know, there are 106 missing episodes of Doctor Who. What happened was, back in the days before home video, the BBC didn't think they had any need to keep programs that they shot. And so, after a while, they just junked them. So, virtually all of the stories from the 1960s were junked. And the only reason we have any of them is that the BBC sold them to foreign markets, and so they kept them, and we've been hunting them down. Well, I say we. Episode hunters have been hunting them down for decades, and occasionally they find them, but it's a very slow process. Yeah, right. So, but we have all the audio, we have all of the actual soundtracks, because crazy fans taped them off their televisions on reel-to-reel tape decks in the 1960s, and other fans have created reconstructions with them, which is they're using photos from the set, to basically make a slideshow with audio of what it would look like, and it's not a perfect way to watch them, but it's but it's not bad, right? You can actually see what happens. And so were you able to just in a general sense about the reconstructions, were you able to roll with it?
I was. I mean, I asked you if it was going to be like a PBS special, and you were like, no! Yes.
It's Ken Burnsy.
It is. But I guess I've watched enough of those for this to not really be, it didn't throw me too much. And it was nice that this one was in color. I know you're telling me the rest of them aren't.
Correct.
Which, sad. But, it was nice to see some color, too, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was okay. It'll be nice to see them moving again, but this, I survived.
What you had said midway through is, and I thought this was really funny, you said that if this had not been a good story, you wouldn't be able to roll with the reconstructions.
Right.
First of all,
and you're like, uh-oh.
Because a lot of the ones coming up are not really good stories like this one, but this is a good story. Marco Polo is a good story.
Yeah.
It's complex, it's slow like all the other 1960s stuff, but it doesn't feel like it's draggy. It's well paced. I mean, what did you think of the story in total?
I liked this story. I liked the new characters that they introduced, and the fact that we stuck with them for a while. And that Susan made a friend in Pink Cho, and like Ian and Marco Polo kind of click, and the Doctor and Mighty Khan. I mean, it was like it was nice to see some relationships forming, and to like be in a story where you actually kind of connect with the newer characters. So I thought it was cool that it's actually like historical. Like that part, I can actually sort of appreciate that they did their homework, and like I was asking you if these were all real cities that they were traveling to, and they are. So I thought that was pretty neat too. So yeah, it was a good story, good character development.
The complexity of the characters always gets me. This Marco Polo is such a complicated character. He's got this the goal, of course, is to give the TARDIS to Khan in hopes of getting home. And he's sort of a villain in that way, in that he's keeping our characters from getting out of there, but he's not. He's just got a really interesting motivation.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. I'm like, he steals the TARDIS to give to someone else, and yet you don't hate him. Like you hate Tagana. You hate him. Yeah. But you don't hate Marco Polo, and then him and Ian are kind of like buddies, and I'm like, they're frenemies. Like they want to be friends, but like Marco Polo stole their caravan. So yeah, it's kind of weird how you but you sort of understand like he wants to get home that bad that he's sort of doing whatever he has to do to get there. So you sort of understand his character, but yeah, it's complex. It's nice.
It's similar to Ian and Barbara, who want to get home more than anything else. It's really good. Yeah. A lot of the comments that you made during it were about Ping Cho and her arranged marriage.
Yeah, poor Ping Cho. Yeah. Or how old is he? Like 75 or something? Yeah, and she's supposed to be 15 or 16. Yeah, that's not okay. Yeah, I just can't believe I was like, hey, maybe he'll die.
And he does.
And he died. But yeah, I really liked Ping Cho, and so you could sort of like, they kind of let go of that storyline for a while. For a couple of episodes, you didn't really hear about it, and I would like occasionally think, I'd be like, doesn't she have to marry like a 75-year-old at the end of this like whole thing? Like, can we readdress that? That's not okay.
And they
so,
did. And they did.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah. What were your thoughts about the Mighty Khan? Speaking of him,
I thought he was awesome. I liked that he was like this old like struggling guy, and that him and the doctor hit it off, and they're like playing backgammon. And I don't know. I just thought it was great. I mean, he's still like making all the decisions. Like he's still. I don't know. I thought it was actually kind of poetic because like to sort of change the stereotype that we have in our head of someone who's mighty. You know, like he's still a mighty guy. He's still like in charge of all of this, and he's still making all the calls and all of that. But he's like an old man, you know. But his wisdom. So I thought it was kind of cool that they portrayed it that way. And it's interesting because the doctor doesn't really respect a lot of people at all, and he seemed to sort of respect.
He's the first person we see him respect.
Honestly, yeah. So that was interesting, and I'm like, well, then that is a mighty person because the doctor doesn't respect anybody.
There you go.
So,
what were your thoughts on Tagana?
I hated him, like just all the way through. I was like, this guy is a bag of dirt. Like, he was so sneaky, and I hated that like Marco Polo was like so on the fence about him the whole time. I'm like, it's so obvious the dude's a creep. So yeah, I definitely hated that dude at the end when he died. I can't say I was sad.
Yeah. He's our first human villain in the show. He's the first one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he played it well. I mean, we didn't even see him move.
Right.
Just from his, like, the audio and the pictures of him, he played the villain really well. So.
Yeah. I mean, like what I was saying in the last episode is this is a story that ends with a long sword fight between two characters we know we're never going to see again.
Right.
We met 7 episodes ago, and they're not our main characters, and yet we really
We're still
care.
invested.
We're invested.
Yeah.
We're invested in how this works. It's just a very good story.
Yeah.
And to me, this was the story that, had I been watching in 1964, this is the story that would have told me that this show can do anything.
Right.
We started with a caveman movie. We moved to a futuristic city with creatures in robot suits.
Right.
And then we spend months tracking Marco Polo on this trip to
actually, before you even said anything about that, I actually thought about that. I'm like, this is all over the place at this point, and we're 3 stories into Doctor Who, and they're just covering all grounds. The sets and the costumes on this one were just incredible. So that's kind of nice, like looking forward to like seeing what more they're gonna do, because they really like go all out for these sets. Like this one especially was pretty cool. So it did get me like excited to see like where they're gonna go next. As of like the last couple, I'm like, okay, I'm in this for 4 years, and now I'm like, okay, this could be like interesting because they are just covering everything. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So the story that gets your best review so far doesn't even exist.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I wish I could see it, but I'm glad if it would have actually been in video, it would have been in black and white, and having the color, especially for this one, because the costumes and the set design were so elaborate and colorful. It was nice to see those in color. So I don't totally hate the fact that it was a reconstruction.
We'll see what you say next time.
Yeah.
So that's it for this story. Next time we're going to do the Keys of Marinus. So thank you for watching.
Bye.